This news program is proudly brought to you by
Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits
and Now Biscuits.
Additional 250 million kina for Dehurst. Women's Microbank partners with Samurai Murua DDA. And Central Province Government passes budget of over 351 million kina. A very good evening. You're watching National EMTV News. I'm Grace Papiali. Thank you for joining us. The national government has made an additional funding allocation of over 250 million kina to the Department of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology. Minister for Higher Education and Sports, Don Pollier, in an exclusive interview with EMTV, revealed this today in Port Moresby. Minister Pollier highlighted that a funding of 33 million kina will be paid soon to the department to cater for TESE's outstanding owed to institutions for 2021 and 2022.
The original budget allocation to the department, which stands at 40.7 million kina, as revealed by the 2023 national budget, has been doubled. Higher Education Minister today revealed that an additional 87.23 million kina has been sent to Dehurst to fund the tuition fees at all institutions.
Which we are now, through the Secretary, administering to the universities and other institutions to have the 6,000, I think, for the universities, and then 4,500 or so for the technical institutions being paid now. So we have money there that's come in. Before, in the budget, there definitely the funding was not enough, but now the government has given enough money.
Minister Pollier acknowledged the government and the Department of Treasury for promptly responding to the call made by the higher education sector.
So I'm thankful to the Prime Minister and to Treasury and the Treasurer, the Honourable Judge Marape and Treasurer Yenling Stagi for listening to the call of the higher education sector.
The minister also revealed that the cabinet also made additional funding of 167 million kina to the HELP scheme, so students can benefit from the HELP program.
In the HELP, the loan scheme, students, I think also the amount of money that was provided was, I think, something like 20 million in the budget. But the cabinet has also agreed to look elsewhere and given a 167 million in approximately for students to benefit from the HELP. So those students who will be eligible to benefit are those that are at the universities or postgraduate as well as undergraduates, they can apply. Those students who benefit from TESAs can apply as well.
All these outstanding fees will be sorted out soon as advised by Minister Pollier in order for the smooth running of institution for the 2023 academic year. Sharon Engnui, National EMTV News.
Meanwhile, Minister for Higher Education and Sports, Don Pollier, in an exclusive interview with EMTV, called on institutions across the country to make sound and responsible decisions. Minister Pollier made this statement following an article released by one of the dailies who was alleged to be turned away recently by the University of Papua New Guinea.
Minister Pollier told EMTV News that such situations should be well addressed at the administrative level, highlighting that the young girl who got turned away at UPNG is an unfortunate situation. He highlighted that every student who is transitioning from the secondary schools from within the PNG education system should be given a fair treatment.
Image at the university is living in its own small bubble of mediocrity of the past, where they're looking at very traditional ways of operating, where they say only Papua New Guinea students should enter the university. So it is not a good image. The second is that the university does not seem to be in a global or acting within a global context where Papua New Guinea is a member of the global community and university. So
Minister Polye expressed disappointment towards the institution, highlighting that such situation portrays a bad image for the country. He said PNG is part of the global community and should welcome both the national and international students to enjoy the education offered within the country.
I, as minister and as a government, the Mara Birosa government, we are very happy to encourage that. We encourage national students to study as well as international students to study. In that, when we mix students of diverse nationalities to study in Papua New Guinea, it's globalization, it's interaction, it's socialization, it's a study of its own.
Meanwhile, UPNG Vice-Chancellor Frank Griffin, in a statement released this afternoon, clarified that the acceptance letter given to the concerned students was based on the national online selection system, which cannot identify her as an international student, emphasizing that this is one of the gaps that exist within the online selection system. He added that during registration, the UPNG administration discovered that the student is not a PNG citizen. She completed her grade 12 at the private school and that her parents were given a work permit for management roles and there is no document showing they have been granted citizenship. She is therefore classified as an international student and will pay fees under the international student fee structure. Sharon Engnui, National EMTV News.
Women's Microbank or Mama Bank has partnered with the Samarai Murua District Development Authority to establish a Mama Bank agency in the district to enable the locals to access the financial services and credit facility being offered by the bank. This will support the district development plans to empower entrepreneurship in the district. The signing of the Memorandum of Agreement took place today at the bank's headquarters in Port Moresby.
This initiative, led by the bank and the member for Samarai Murua and Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture, E.C. Henry Leonard, will now recognize ordinary people within his district in Milne Bay Province who will now have proper banking services and be equal partners in the district's economic development plans. Mr. Leonard, during the signing, highlighted that his district is one of the remotest, which makes it difficult for him to get engaged with his people at all levels, and he welcomes this initiative.
Make it happen. Make it simple, make it basic, but one that is applicable, where a person in the rural sector, in the village, in the ward level, is able to participate.
Mr. Leonard adds that this will now create an avenue for his people to adequately have access to credit scheme, which will enable them to play an active role in economic development and also support his aspirations of engaging the elderly, persons with impairments and students to have their own accounts.
How can I do that? Partnership is the way forward. As our chairman has stressed and advised and informed us. Partnership is the way forward. So for me, I want to engage with the Women's Microbank and establish the Women's Microbank on Misima Island. Through partnership, we can now engage in my programs, in empowering my people.
Chairman of the bank, Noel Norinku, acknowledged the member and his DDA team for having the confidence in the bank to extend inclusive financial services to the people in his district. He is urging the people to make use of this golden opportunity.
Mama Bank believes that empowering and building the financial capacity of every Papua New Guinean through savings and credit culture will have a greater impact in their lives in terms of financial independence, so that everyone can be able to make informed decisions in meeting their personal as well as families' current and future events.
A commitment has been made for the two partners to work together to establish the bank agency called the Mama Bank Access Point in the district and to roll out the MSME credit scheme, which will jointly be coordinated by both project teams. Sharon Engnui, National EMTV News.
The Department of Agriculture and Livestock held its 2023 dedication service today at the Assemblies of God Church at Tokarara in the nation's capital. Acting Secretary of DAL, Dr. Nelson Simbiken, said the event is a significant one as the department will be the one delivering the government's dream for a sustainable economy. The Maraperoso government has charted the resurrection, reformation, and transformation of the agriculture sector through the creation of 4 ministries in the agriculture sector. Acting Secretary of the Department of Agriculture and Livestock, Dr. Nelson Simbiken, said the call of the sector now is to grow and commercialize key agriculture projects to develop rural economies.
With the aim of developing the rural economies, Dr. Simbigan said the department must build economic infrastructure to unlock the agriculture potential in the rural areas of the country. He said they will push for commercial agriculture, support price and freight subsidies, build market systems through digital platforms, and increase PNG content in agriculture investments.
We're going to build business incubation centers as part of on the DAL owned land, and it's part of the intervention that the DAL is undertaking to promote agri SMEs and cottage industries in our rural areas.
Going forward, the DAL will be looking to achieve 4 policy areas for the year 2023. Secretary Dr. Simbigan said these goals will be achieved by establishing a corporate plan.
In order to do that, government department has completed a new corporate plan for the department. Corporate plan for 2023 to 2027. So we will launch the corporate plan as part of the institutional restructure.
Some of the policy areas that DAL will undertake include institutional restructure and build governance system, build agriculture business incubation centers at the regional centers, and on DAL-owned land in partnership with provinces and districts for SME growth and digital marketing platforms.
The department will review and establish the Agricultural Administration Act and Agricultural Investment Act. Those 2 acts defines the legal role DAL will play in the years to come.
Dr. Simbigan said with big goals set for them, they will be working very hard to achieving the dream of the government in delivering economic independence, food security, and employment for the people. Cynthia Maku, National EMTV News.
You're watching National EMTV News. Stay with us. Welcome back to National EMTV News. The Department of Agriculture and Livestock held its 2023 dedication service today at the Assemblies of God Church at Tokarara in the nation's capital. Acting Secretary of the DAL, Dr. Nelson Simbiken, said the event is a significant one as the department will be the one delivering the government's dream for a sustainable economy.
The DAL staff were encouraged during the dedication service to be faithful stewardship and to deliver to the people of the country. DAL's acting secretary, Mr. Simbigan, said that the department has repented today from all past mistakes that they have done to the country and said they will work towards delivering economic independence.
Working with the government to make sure that the dreams and aspirations and visions of the government will be delivered through the agriculture sector.
Dr. Simbigan said the department will now work with the media to get all publications of the department out. He stressed on transparency in the department.
And we'll continue to interact with our media outlets and others out there to making sure that we are clear. Our farmers will now have direct access to the department.
Acting Secretary Dr. Simbigan also added that the agriculture sector will serve the will of the people. He encouraged all DAL staff to be committed and strive for success. Dr. Simbigan highlighted that there is a corporate plan 2023 to 2027 that the department will launch to guide the department in achieving its objectives. Cynthia Maku, National EMTV News.
The Central Province passed a record budget of over 351 million kina. The budget was passed this afternoon and ended in a heated outburst on the floor of the Central Provincial Assembly.
These were the scenes this afternoon following the passing of the 2023 Central Provincial Budget. A heated outburst from the Hiri Koiari president, who felt he was not given an opportunity to debate before the passing of the 2023 Central Budget. A record 351 million kina budget was passed today on the floor of the Central Provincial Assembly, with the theme Investing in Human Capital to Drive Change Today. While most of the members passed the budget, a few members were disappointed.
The water to Port Moresby comes from Hiri Koiari that contributes to this city. A dam is going to open up very shortly. Nara Brown is going to come on stream. The lifeline of Gulf people are out of Hiri Koiari. The power generating plant and the gas firing machine is in Hiri Koiari. From where 22 million is going to come, my people get nothing.
The 2023 budget, of which 4 million kina is allocated to the Hiri district, which houses the Papua LNG project. According to the Hiri LLG president, Haoda Rogea, each year the Hiri LLG is overlooked when it comes to budget allocation for the PNG LNG levy, a point raised by the Hiri president earlier this week during the budget debate.
Development levy shared 72-28. 28% belong to Hiri local government, 72% belong to Central Provincial government. That doesn't mean that the money can be spent elsewhere. Madam Governor, Hiri Koiari is a very, very new electorate. Hiri Koiari needs this money to establish district headquarters. Hiri Koiari needs this money to drive forward its development aspirations and visions within the district.
In a budget speech, Governor for Central Province Rufina Pita spoke of the areas the budget will have an impact on in investing in human capital to drive change in the Central Province.
This theme emphasizes the importance of human resource relative to other factors of production such as land and capital. Integral human development will be our #1 priority because we must ask ourselves two fundamental questions as leaders. Who do we represent and who do we plan and budget for?
This is the first annual budget passed under the tenure of Central Province Governor Rufina Pita. Rocky Iso, National EMTV News.
The Special Parliamentary Committee on Health Matters visited Port Moresby General Hospital recently. The visit was to see what is happening there and how the system is running. The team was led by the Shadow Health Minister, Elias Kapavore.
This Special Parliamentary Committee is an extended arm of the National Parliament, chaired by the Shadow Minister for Health, Elias Kapavore, together with some members of Parliament. This team reports back to the National Parliament on the health issues in the country. Kapavore says the reason for such visits is to go and see what is happening inside Port Moresby General Hospital and how the system is running. Chief Executive Officer for Port Moresby General Hospital, Dr. Paki Molumi, says health sector in the country has many challenges and it is good to address it at the very highest level in Parliament. Dr. Molumi highlighted that hospitals in the country should be able to provide specialized services to its citizens rather than for them to seek medical services overseas. Hence, the visit by the Special Parliamentary Committee may be a step towards addressing these issues. Samantha Solomon, National EMTV News.
Air Niugini has suspended all flights to Tufi, Northern Province, effectively today, Friday, the 3rd of February 2023, for an indefinite period. This announcement was made by Air Niugini today. Following the repair work conducted by the National Airports Corporation in Mount Hagen and the downgrade of passengers from Fokker 100 to small Fokker 70 and Dash 8 aircrafts, Air Niugini has once again announced another untimely situation that is beyond their control today. That is the effective suspension of all flights for Tufi in Northern Province, following a notice to airmen or NOTAM that was issued by the PNG Civil Aviation Authority or CASA to close the airport to aircraft which have more than 20 seats. Air Niugini has been operating flights twice in a week to Tufi, but that will be suspended now for an indefinite period. Work has commenced on the sealing and upgrading of the remaining 27 kilometers of the Lear Highland Ring Road following a groundbreaking ceremony at the Palia Catholic Mission Station on Lihir. The Lihir Ring Road is a project covered under both the 1995 and 2007 benefit-sharing Lihir Memorandums of Agreement signed between the three levels of government, national, provincial and local level, and the Lihir Mining Affected Landowners Association.
As outlined in the MOA, Lihir Gold Limited is responsible for the upgrade of the component on the eastern side from Juan to Palia, which has already been completed. The remaining 27 kilometers on the western side of the main island is the responsibility of the national government. The national government has approved funding under its tax credit scheme policy using tax credit payments from Newcrest's Lihir mine for the completion of its obligation under the MOA. Villagers from all around the island joined in the celebration that was coordinated by the Nimamar local level government headed by LLG President Stanley Tunut. Minister for Civil Aviation and Transport and Amatanai MP Walter Snowbelt thanked the people of Lihir for their patience and said the ring road construction and sealing was just one of several projects identified under the MOA. He said this partnership is important to achieve the remaining projects under the MOA. It takes a partnership to deliver any kind of project. Mr. Snowbelt commended Newcrest Mining Limited Lihir for doing its part by sealing the road from Juan to Palia on the eastern side of the island and said the government will now seal the outstanding 27 kilometers from Palia to Juan on the western side. Acting Lihir General Manager Patrick Fordis congratulated all stakeholders on the historic occasion. He acknowledged and paid homage to the vision and commitment of Lihirian elders, both past and present, for setting the foundations of sustainable development that is currently seen on Lihir. The completion of this project will serve to improve current socioeconomic conditions on Lihir, such as access to vital services for people on the western side of the island, to schools, medical, business and other government services located at the Londolo Vid Township. Following an open and transparent tender process, consistent with infrastructure tax credit scheme guidelines, the contract for the sealing and upgrade of the project was awarded to PNG company Dekanai Construction Limited. Dekanai has now immediately begun work on the project. Estagane, National EMTV News.
Unworthy motor vehicles on the roads is a common cause of motor traffic incidents throughout the country, along with an increasing number of unregistered public motor vehicles and taxis. This needs the attention from the responsible relevant authorities. This was a call made by the Eastern Highlands PMV Association to the Eastern Highlands Provincial Government. A call for immediate action was sternly made by representatives from the Eastern Highlands PMV Association. Philip Goimap is a PMV owner in Goroka. He aired concerns on this matter recently in Goroka.
How can I survive? There's so many buses, unworthy buses, and roadworthy buses, and they are putting people's life at risk. You can't do that. You have to register your bus.
He is also appealing to the provincial government to take immediate action.
Provincial government have to come on board, assist us. Government is emphasizing on SME. We are, coming up with something. Law, come up with one thing, government SME.
Now we take a look at the Nest Fund market report. The Kina closed unchanged at $0.2840 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, Kina was buying $0.2765 $0.3872 Australian dollars, $0.2459 euro, and 35.09 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading lower. Coffee closed higher, cocoa closed lower, copper closed lower, palm oil closed lower, crude oil is trading lower, copper closed lower. On the stock market, the Dow Jones closed lower, the ASX 200 is trading higher, the All Ordinaries is trading higher. National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to National EMTV News. The winner for the True Adventure Hilux promotion for Momase region, run by Trukai Industries Limited, was announced today in Ley. The lucky entry was picked by Constable Pascalis Hakoy from the Ley Metropolitan Command, and a female answered the phone correctly with the tagline, Emi Trukai.
Trukai Regional Manager for Momase, Clint Hamey, says this is one of their biggest promotions, which started last year in December. Hamey says more than 7,000 entries were received from the Momase region, which is higher than the entries received in the New Guinea Islands region. He says the promotion made a big difference in the sale of Trukai rice. Trukai's True Adventure promotion commenced in December of 2022 and concluded in January 2023 with more than 7,000 entries for Momase alone. With the conclusion of NGI's draw and Momase draw, Trukai will continue with its True Adventure Alex draw in Mount Hagen on the 7th of February for the Highlands region, and the last draw in Port Moresby for the Southern region on the 10th of February. The call to the winner was broadcasted live on FM 100. Estagane, National EMTV News.
The NCD Central Command gathered at the Boroko Police Station to be addressed by the NCD Metropolitan Superintendent Silva Sika and the NCD Central Commander ACP Anthony Wagambi Jr. This parade is aimed at taking on board the Police Commissioner's intent for this year on discipline and going back to basics.
Metsupsika during the parade called on the police personnel to get back to basics and to uphold the law and ethics.
Said is so faithful to look after us in terms of our wages and salaries and the taxpayers. We must show them that we are also committed to repay them for what they give to us, what they render to us. And my message is very straight to the point that we've got to deliver. We've got to deliver this city from unhealthy, but the toughest thing is to change the mindset of a human being. That is the difficult part. How we do it? We do it this Papua New Guinea. And I want Papua New Guineans to accept the fact that this is Papua New Guinea policemen dealing with you.
The commander for NCD in Central, Anthony Wagambi Jr., says NCD is a challenging command with the influx of people coming in from all parts of the country.
NCD is a very, very challenging command. In recent years, most recently, we have seen the influx of people coming into the city for various reasons. Either in search of services in the districts which are not, is not up to standard, and they are coming into the city. The other is seeking employment opportunities in the city, and for various reasons, running away from trouble fights in the highlands, and they seek refuge here in the city. And that has had a it's posed a major strain on all government services and municipal services, and most is on the police.
Commander Wagambi reiterated that public trust has to be won by the police force in order to carry out their tasks. He also appealed to the surrounding communities to respect each other and respect the rule of law.
You mean NCD Central? You must cooperate with them. Passing the respect, they must stop. Respecting each other, respecting rule of law. Now, plenty of time, police walk. For example, time you may talk knock and salim or something in the public place. Because time you may put salim or something in the public place, you may encourage him, old man lo petty crime or some drug dealer, sparkman, old man lo pickpocket, lo kambung lo hap na walk him or something. Time you talk knock and salim something in the public place. You must go to have where NCDC market was a market blue. You must hear him talk.
Metsupsika asked the 800 police officers under his command to work with him in order to fix the law and order issues. Tents will be set up at the crime hotspots locations around the nation's capital to help reduce the crime rates. Sisika stressed that this year is going to be a year of law and order implementation. He called on the men and women in blue not to walk past the crime, but to apply the laws that are in place. Samantha Solomon, National EMTV News.
Miss Papua New Guinea, Josie Nicholas, has had a tremendous start at the Miss Pacific Islands pageant in Samoa with a heartwarming welcome by the PNG Samoa community at the Taumesina Island Resort in Apia, Samoa. Official pageant program kicked off with a blessing at church and selection of contestant number and topic. Miss Papua New Guinea is contestant number 5 and presented on the topic of education in the first round of judging, which took place yesterday. As part of the Tourism and Promotion Cultural Exchange, contestants, including Miss Papua New Guinea, had the opportunity to travel to Savai and participate in traditional tapa making and visited renowned tourist attractions such as the Afu'au Falls and the fascinating Selula lava fields. The Miss Pacific Islands crowning will be held tonight, where one contestant will be crowned the 34th Miss Pacific Islands after a 3-year break due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And moving on to overseas news now, Defence and Foreign Minister from Australia and the UK have met in Europe for an important meeting that will help Australia keep the Indo-Pacific region stable.
Defence correspondent for the ABC, Andrew Green, published a story last night suggesting that it was expected that the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, would be heading to Washington next month to meet up with US President Joe Biden and also UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, and that the details of those subs, how they will be built, where they will be built and what kind of subs they will potentially be revealed there and then. We've had a few clues along the way. The UK Defence Secretary Ben Wallace said a while back now, I think it was September last year, that he believed this would be a truly collaborative project. And that's led to some analysts suggesting that perhaps what you'll end up seeing is a new kind of class of submarine that is actually shared between the US, Australia and the UK. Now, that is speculation at this stage, and it's a question that I put to the Defence Secretary of the UK today. Here's what he said.
Well, I think you'll have to wait for the Australian Cabinet to make its final decision on their proposals. And then I think then, it is for Australia to reveal what options it's settled for. Whatever the options are, and there are a range of them, it is a joint endeavour, whether that is the sharing of technology and the understanding of how to do it, the sharing of the build or the sharing of the design. So whatever option is chosen by Australia, it will be collaborative, and that statement stands.
Richard Marles said that when it is announced that it will be a huge moment in Australian history.
Doctor shortages and rising medical issues in Australia was a key focus in today's political meetings.
National Cabinet is being handed a long-awaited report into the state of Medicare, with recommendations being debated at the meeting. State and territory governments are also calling for increased federal funding for hospitals. The AMA's Danielle McMullen says while the Medicare report looks at long-term changes, the sector also needs help right now.
We can't afford to wait for long-term reform, and we know that patients, particularly low-income, vulnerable patients, are struggling to access increasing gaps now, thanks to successive governments failing to index the MBS, that rebate, appropriately. So we do call on government to provide some more immediate injections of funding, in addition to that strengthening Medicare task force money, to make sure that we have the clinics open to be able to participate in that much-needed long-term reform.
National MTV News continues after the break with Trukai Sports. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. Teams competing in the NCD Governors Cup Grand Final this weekend are already in preparations for the tournament. Two of the teams competing this season in a curtain racer match are the only two female teams that registered this year.
One of the biggest off-season rugby league competitions in the nation's capital, after much delay, is finally set to witness its grand final tournament this Sunday. From 40-plus teams, and after several weeks of competition, the tournament has cut down its numbers following the completion of its pool matches to elimination, and now the tournament is ready for its semi-final and grand final round. With 4 top teams ready to compete for a spot in the grand final, the tournament will also witness the only 2 registered female teams in the competition go head-to-head in the curtain raiser match before the main game, which is the grand final between the 2 top teams. The grand final is set to take place at the National Football Stadium this Sunday. Godwin Eki, Trukai Sports.
The fighters from Samson Unarmed Kickboxing Club gathered this afternoon to continue their training in the lead-up to their first event for the year. While the club is still seeking sponsorship, the event will take place next month from the 10th to the 11th of March 2023.
Today, a mixture of boxers and kickboxers gathered at the Sir John Guy Stadium for training under their coach and trainer, PNG international professional kickboxer Nelson Samson. Samson said with the most of the fighters new to the club, it is only fair that they go through various training and that for them to really master the skills. He said for now training is paramount for the new fighters.
Right now, as you can see, I'm with my boys right now here.
I'm training them basically in kickboxing and boxing. We are preparing very well, training them very hard to look forward to challenge all these 29 kickboxing clubs around Port Moresby and NCDC. The date we are scheduling for to host the game is on March 10 to 11, 2 days event at Bomana. So like now we are trying to get the boys on track. We do more physical and skills training and get them on ready for the March 10 game.
A senior fighter, Alphonse Sumi, who is no stranger to kickboxing and boxing, says it's not just about winning, but it is also about healthy living and looking after oneself to stay physically fit.
I like kickboxing. I used to train under Nelson Desert Storm kickboxing promotion. To be a kickboxer, it is not all about being a champion. One way or the other, I'm also about safety. And to live in a healthy life is more good. Therefore, I choose to, play kickboxing.
Meanwhile, President Samson is calling on interested individuals and business houses to come forward and help the club host their first tournament in 2023.
We are really seeking sponsors. This is our club. My club, we've been hosted three kickboxing shows so far. And this is going to be number 4. So we are at least for the first, this is 2023, first year, our first show. And we're looking forward to any sponsors willing to help us. It's many youths here, probably up to 20 of them, but most of them didn't make it on time. Some of them are schooling and working and all this.
Anam Kickboxing Tournament will host their fight at Bomana from the 10th to the 11th of March 2023. Godwin Eki, Trukai Sports.
Trukai Sports continues after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. The National Men's Conference Soccer League Grand Final 2023 will take place tomorrow at the Sejongai Stadium. Top 2 teams in the running for the 2023 Premiership title are Lay City FC and Hekari United FC. The games will be telecasted live on EMTV tomorrow, with the kickoff of the main game at 3 p.m.
The National Soccer League Grand Final will witness the top 2 teams compete for the title tomorrow. These 2 teams, the Hekari United FC and the Lay City FC, 2 of the strongest teams in the competition, will battle it out at the Sejongai Stadium come tomorrow. Today, match officials, the competition organizers, as well as other technical crew, including EMTV, were on site at the Sejongai Stadium preparing for the big day. Playing in the kickoff of the 3rd and 4th playoff are the Lay Natives FC. A representative from the Lay Natives FC, Garung Zariri, had this to say about the grand final day.
In PNGFA, all competitions, especially NSL, Hekari and Lay City, our top teams. I mean, they've been going to grand final all these years. And for the rest of us, we've been trying, and maybe we really have to build up to beat them one day. But for tomorrow's final, the best team wins. A team that focuses on that game. Okay, if they, the players keep to what the coaches have told them. Okay, that team should come out winner tomorrow. Yeah.
In the lead-up to the grand final match tomorrow, entertainment will start at 9 a.m. and the gates to be opened at 10 a.m. EMTV will telecast the National Men's Soccer League Grand Final match live tomorrow, with the main game between Hekari United FC and Lay City FC to kick off at 3 p.m. Godwin Eki, Trukai Sports.
And that ends Trukai Sports. The Money Plus weather report is next. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by Money Plus, with you always.
Now we take a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. In the southern region, Port Moresby City, cloudy periods with patchy rain. Daru and Kerema, cloudy with rain showers and possible thunderstorms. Alatau, cloudy periods with few showers and possible thunderstorms. Popondetta, cloudy with rain showers and thunderstorms. In Momasa region, Ley City and Medang, mostly cloudy with few showers. Wewak and Vanimo, mostly fine, partly cloudy. In the New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau, mostly fine. Kaveng, partly cloudy with few showers. Kokopo Rabaul, mostly cloudy with few showers and possible thunderstorms. Kimbe, cloudy with rain showers and thunderstorms. Buka, brief showers easing, then partly cloudy. In the Highlands region, Mount Hagen City, cloudy with rain showers and thunderstorms, then morning fog. Goroka, Kundiawa, Mendi and Wabeg, cloudy periods with rain showers, then morning fog.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that wraps up the news, sports and weather for Friday, the 3rd of February 2023. From the entire news team, pleasant viewing. Bye for now.
This news program was proudly brought to you by Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits and Gold Nuggets.